the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is good for? Absolutely.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them. Republicans and Democrats.
All right, folks, it's Saturday morning, and for the first time in almost a month, you know what that means. It means it's time for Finding Common Ground, and after this show airs, we will also be doing Opinion Nation Live with Bryce Robbins. It's been a while, so for those of you that have been looking for us, I promise we're still alive. Bryce is actually going through end-of-school-year drama, so he's been a little busy. Things should start returning to normal here in a little bit. I think we're going to focus most of today's show on the Orlando situation, media's reaction to the Orlando situation, everyday Americans' reaction to the Orlando situation, because all of it's a little bit surprising. But before we get started, since it's been about a month since you've heard his voice, good morning, Bryce. How are you?
I feel like I'm a bear coming out of my den, awakening. I've been itching, actually, to come back on the radio and debate a little bit. So it's good to be back.
If you're itching, I doubt that has much to do with radio.
Yeah, maybe I'm growing up. I don't know. Ew. No, but yeah, I'm graduating in 3 days, I think it is. Yeah, 3 days. 3 days. And then I will no longer be the little high schooler that Rick picks on. You'll be the
little college brat that I pick on.
Exactly. And that's where, the liberal education will start to soak into my brain, and then we'll be arguing about feminism and whatnot.
So how exactly is that education going to soak into something that ain't already there?
I hate you. Actually, before we talk about the Orlando shooting, and it will drag us right in. Well, actually, two things. One has nothing to do with it. One kind of does. All right. First off, the Ronald Reagan a simple answer, or something, an easy answer, but some simple. The speech that he gives in the opening of our show. I was looking that up, and I listened to the speech. It's a very good speech, but he's talking about going to war. I don't know if you knew that. He's talking about that it's not a simple choice, but an easy one, that we have to kill the enemy. So I just thought that was interesting. Second, yesterday, and believe this or not, and even me, a raging liberal, thought this was absolutely insane. I saw a group, LGBT against Islamophobia, and they're talking about how, we need to embrace Islam and whatnot. And I know I will catch flack for this, but I have to be completely honest. One side really doesn't look at the other side the same way that the one side's looking at the other side right now. I mean, you go to parts of the Middle East, they're throwing people off buildings for being gay. So I thought that had a touch of irony to it. But anyways, how have you been?
Well, it's been a hectic few weeks, and it seems like it's getting more hectic, so that's both good and bad. Other than that, really not too much going on my way, except for as soon as we get
done with the airing. Today I have to go buy a part so I can help fix my brother-in-law's car. Yay.
Nice indeed. Well, I guess it's no better time than now to start.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you bring up, because one of the things that I first noticed after the Orlando shooting, because, you know, I spend a lot of time on Twitter. Sally Cohn has a Twitter account. I don't know if you've ever looked at anything that she's posted, but like,
Rick, I don't use Twitter.
Well, no, I know. You fell in love with Facebook and they bent you over, so have fun with that.
Oh, I'm going to tell everybody about that on Opinion Nation. I don't know. I'll tell everybody.
All right, so anyway, Sally Cohn, shortly after the Orlando shooting, tweeted probably one of the craziest, most insane things I think I've ever heard, because to me the two don't correlate. Maybe you'll understand what she means. So within a few hours of the shooting, basically early that next day, she tweets out, "Big deal, so Muslims kill gays. Christians force us to commit suicide. What's the difference?"
I just don't get it, though.
Okay, so I'm just asking, because as a liberal, I thought maybe there was some sort of decoder ring needed to understand what she's saying, because to me the two don't correlate. I mean, I understand that the gay community feels completely ostracized by most Christians, especially the really devout Christians or the nutso Christians.
Oh, now I get... Oh, okay, all right, I get it. I'm on the same page now. I'm sorry. You know, I'm slow, so I get it.
Oh, so it took you a second to get the decoder ring back out of the pocket, so now you understand?
Yeah, I had to get it out of the cereal box. Now I got it.
Okay,
right.
So now that you got the decoder ring, maybe you can help me translate that from idiot to English.
Okay. What she's saying is, and... You know, actually, the more I think about it, I guess it does have a little merit to it. It's not the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Not really. But go ahead.
But what she's saying is, all right, yes, the Muslim community, or the, you know, extremist Muslim community is obviously strongly anti-gay. And as a result, we had this guy who was gay. Omar Mateen, the shooter, was, in fact, they reported a frequent member of the bar. He had homosexual relations throughout high school. And my personal opinion is that he was a repressed homosexual who, you know, was just sick with himself because he was at conflict, inner struggle with his religion and with his feelings towards men. And then he shot up the place to, you know, repent to Allah or whatever. But what she's saying is that if you think about it, all the times that Christians or Catholics or whatever have told, actually, for example, there's a, I obviously won't say names, but I know someone personally who, when they go home to their house, is very, very, very religious. When they come to school, they're gay, and they have a huge problem understanding that they are who they are. I mean, this person says, I don't want to be gay. It's a sin. You know, it's against the Bible. Gays go to hell. Gays shouldn't have rights. But he's still evidently gay. And he says, well, I can't help it. And, you know, I think personally that's so sad because, I personally don't believe in many religious things. I kind of see there's an irony behind it, that he wants to be who he is, but he goes home and his family reinforces this idea of Christianity. And you could see where somebody would kill themselves over this because he can't even be comfortable with himself because of his religion and what's taught to him. So I kind of understand what this lady's hinting at. I think she could have done it in a much better, more respectful way because, you know, she could have. But there is absolutely, you know, merit to the argument that many, you know, Christian groups or, you know, gay reform groups like the gay conversion therapy and whatnot have led to many deaths in the gay community. So, hey, you know, it makes sense to me a little bit. She just worded it poorly.
Okay, so just to make sure that we're on the same page, you are ultimately holding other groups responsible for someone choosing to take their own life.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because
so you're hang on. So yeah. You are holding a larger group as a whole, ultimately responsible for a personal choice.
No, not as a whole. I don't.
No, that's pretty much what you just did. You did exactly what she just did. You took a group as a whole and made them responsible for personal choices.
No.
Yes,
I'm not.
you did. You don't realize
saying,
that you did, but that is exactly what you just did. You just did exactly what she did. She equates an entire group of people and holds them responsible for the fact that some of the people that feel the same way that she does over the years have committed suicide.
So it's okay when we say that all Muslims are terrorists? I mean, but when we talk about Christians hating gays, we can't do that? No, first of all, I'm not even saying either of those. I'm not saying that all
actually, you
Christians
just
are bad.
did. You just used the phrase Christians hate gays.
Well, no.
First of all, I know lots of Christians, including myself, that don't hate gays. The other problem that I have with this is this is no different than the Islamist extremists are different than the regular folks that worship Islam. That's one of the things that I've had to learn over time is to quit lumping everybody into the same damn group. But it's okay when your side does it. That's what I don't understand.
Not lumping everybody into the group here. All I'm saying is that there are certain, radicals within a religion that will tell you that, yes, gays are sinning.
Okay, so even if it's a sin, just because somebody chooses to take their own life, that's that person's fault for giving them their opinion?
Well, absolutely. When that opinion we're in a Christian-centric, Eurocentric society. So absolutely, when everybody's being told to conform to this, religious base, then yeah, absolutely.
So again, just to clarify for those that are listening, again, you believe that because Christians are actually giving people an opinion that says, by my belief system, what I feel you're doing is wrong, and that person goes and commits suicide, that's the person's fault that gave them an opinion. By that notion, we should stop doing this talk show right now because we don't know who we're offending and who might commit suicide.
You are minimizing it to, quote, an
No,
opinion.
I'm not. I'm trying to make you understand that the argument is asinine. Because if we keep spending all of our time worrying about who we're offending by giving our opinion, then you and I might as well stop doing what we're doing right now. Because for all I know, when we start talking about the Orlando shooting, some other Muslim's going to go nuts and start shooting people. And ultimately, according to your logic, that's going to be my fault. Because I gave them my opinion.
Not at all. Rick, they were just like...
That is what you just said.
There were just two pastors who came out yelling about how, this shooting was a good thing because, God hates the gays.
So they're idiots. What does that have to do with the entire group?
What I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about the everyday Christian.
But you're still minimizing the fact that these people... See, and this is the reason I have an issue with equating those two things together. This person, whether it was an internal struggle, an outer struggle, whatever the issue was, and I've not heard it confirmed, but I've told everybody from day one that I'm pretty sure this guy went as far as doing everything but trying to get the toaster and got shot down, so he decided to take it out on the club. I don't know, because he was there all the time, and I don't know very many people that don't have those type of tendencies, at least, that don't frequent those places on a regular basis, so maybe it was an internal struggle, but he made a conscious decision to go shoot people. I'm not going to hold an entire group of people, or even one person, accountable for supposedly forcing someone to commit suicide when that is a conscious decision.
I think, in many cases, I was actually just watching this movie, Letters to Bobby, I think it is. And it's about this boy who's raised in a very, very Christian household. Might have been Catholic, I'm not sure. A very, very religious, reinforced, just like the person I know. The boy ends up taking his life because his mother doesn't accept him. And you could see how these people feel that there is no other way out because when they go home, it's just religion being reinforced.
Okay, look, I understand. Look, no, hang on. I understand that that's crap. And as far as I'm concerned, I hope his mom burns in hell for the fact that she rejected her own son. But you can't hold the mother accountable for the son deciding to commit suicide. That was still a conscious choice. He had other options. He chose wrongly. I'm sorry. I do not agree with suicide under any circumstances, and I'm not going to condone it, and I'm not going to put it off on somebody else just because, my mom hurt my feelings because she didn't agree with whatever choices I'm making. You know what? My mother and I don't speak on a daily basis. I've never once thought about eating a bullet because my mom and I can't stand each other.
That's not what I'm saying here, though. What I am saying is that when you are raised around people who don't accept you, it is an easier choice for some to take their life. And I'm not saying...
And it's still their choice. This is the part that your side doesn't ever want to actually acknowledge. It is a choice to commit suicide. I understand that some people feel they don't have any other options, but that is a mental health issue. That is not the fault of the people around them or their environment. That's just like Robin Williams taking his life a few years ago.
I don't see how you don't see the connection here. It's clearly a correlation. If you grow up in these repressive societies, that is causing you to be, repressed and depressed and wanting to commit suicide. And
it's still a personal choice. I don't give a damn what society you grow up in. You ultimately have to be accountable for your own damn actions. That's the same thing that we keep saying about the Islamic terrorists that nobody wants to do anything about, is hold them accountable for their own actions. So why, when someone decides instead of shooting up a club to take their own life, are they not being held accountable for their own damn actions?
I just don't see the correlation.
It's the same decision. They are still committing murder. The only difference is they are murdering themselves. So when one decides to do it externally and shoot up a club, all of a sudden that's a terrible thing. But when someone else decides to murder themselves, all of a sudden we have to take a look at the environment and what caused them to feel that way and why they ultimately made that decision when it was still a conscious decision and, in my estimation, a chicken shit thing to do.
Okay, there's a big difference between killing yourself.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
Murder is murder. Is murder is murder is murder.
No.
Yes.
There's a huge difference between suicide and...
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not. Not by my belief system, because you are squandering a gift that was given to you because of your feelings. That is chicken shit.
I think that you've never lived that lifestyle, and therefore you can't come at this as...
Hey, excuse me? Remember that... Hey, hello. Never lived a lifestyle? Remember me? Shot in the line of duty, spent 6 months in a wheelchair, wasn't ever sure if I was going to walk again. You don't think that just one time during that whole time frame, I didn't think about eating a damn bullet? I'm still here because it was a conscious choice. And no matter how bad I got, I knew things were going to get better. And I knew no matter what, I still had breath in my lungs. So don't you tell me that I've never been where these people are. Don't you ever do that to me again.
But you've never been in this...
Don't you do that. Don't you dare.
That's the fact that you never had to deal with the whole gay environment.
I've had to deal with the fact that my body shut down on me and stopped working. I had to deal with the fact that for quite a bit of my life, I never felt like a human being. I had to deal with the fact that society views people that are in wheelchairs as invalids and not men. There were plenty of things that I had to overcome. So don't you dare do that.
I'm not saying that you have never been in a down... I'm talking about gays here. You're talking about the handicap.
I'm talking about the simple fact of the matter is that there are plenty of other people that have been dealt a shitty hand in life. They could be choosing to eat a bullet, and yet they go through pain and struggle every single day. So that's why I'm telling you, I don't care if it's a decision to shoot up a bar of 500 people or a decision to take your own life. It's chicken shit.
I will never call somebody who's gay a coward because they grew up in an awful home that was disgusting and, raised by bigots who just didn't accept them. I will never, while I don't think...
Well, that's all right, because I'm not asking you to do it. But I'm telling you right here today, because, again, just like my situation, I know a guy that I've worked with for years who suffers from gigantism. And he basically is locked into a wheelchair, can barely walk most of the time, can't do the things that everybody else can do, complains about it on Facebook all the time, and yet he's still here. There are plenty of people that have their own struggles that they go through every single day, and they don't choose to pick up a gun and turn it on themselves or other people. And I'm sorry, as far as I'm concerned, once you commit murder, whether it's an entire group of people that you're targeting or yourself, that makes you a chicken shit. And you don't have to say it. I'm just telling you exactly how I feel.
All right, and I'm telling you that I feel that they're two completely different things.
No, they're not.
One is a person who first of all, is not being treated as if they're, they might, as you said, be treated as they're inferior, or they might be treated as less of a man because they can't, walk or, complete daily functions as a normal functioning human being can. But by no means am I going to compare
Bryce,
someone's handicap?
Bryce, I want to try to make you understand something, because even once I had the ability to stand up and do all the other things that I was able to do, I went into private security, and I spent 12 years of my life in that same environment that you're now making sound like this big group of vaunted people. Do you know how many times a day I was made fun of by these supposed enlightened gay people? How many times a night I was called corky because of the way I walked and the way my face looked sometimes when I'm really tired?
You're lumping together gay people right now. You just said by enlightened gay people. So you're doing the same thing that you accused me of before. It's ridiculous to say. I mean, first of all, let's remove the notion that either of us have really been lumping together people here. Second of all, gay people in general, and we can go group by group. We can talk about the blacks, Hispanics, gays, lesbians, trans people. I really don't care. We can go group to group. Jews, Christians, Catholics, all have felt discrimination to an extent. Okay? I've felt it for being Jewish. You've felt it when you were handicapped. Gays feel it for being gay.
That's the point, brother. Hang on. You're missing the point, because I'm still handicapped and forever now will be, and I still feel it every single day. And it's still something that I have to deal with every single day. I am in constant pain every single day, and I still get up, and I still do the things that I need to do, because that's the reason why I have such a hard time with all of this. Well, they were bullied, or they were made to feel like they didn't matter, so they decided to take their own life. That's crap, because I am still bullied every single day. I have people that do not know who I am, that automatically make assumptions about me and come up and try to treat me as if I'm a freaking retard, because they don't know who I am. And because that's human nature, whether we want to admit it or not, is for people to automatically, in most cases, usually see the worst in people. And if you don't believe that now, look at this election cycle. But that's my whole point. This is a daily struggle for me. So for you, when this conversation started to pop off, well, you have no idea what they've gone through. No, I do. I know exactly what they've gone through every single day, because I'm different than everybody else on the damn planet, and they show me that every single day. But I'm still here, and I'm still fighting, and I'm always going to be here, and I'm always going to fight until the day that I get called home. And I am never going to stop telling people that, in my opinion, whether you choose to take your own life or choose to take someone else's life, you are a coward.
But Rick, let me give you an example here. What was his name? Robert Clemente, I think his name was. He went to Rutgers, and he was filmed by his roommate having sexual relations with a man, posted it on the internet, and surely enough, Mr. Clemente killed himself.
That was his decision.
No, wait, hang on. Since then, there have been intensive bullying laws implemented to make sure that that bully and bullies in the future would get what they deserve. Okay? They're called HIB laws, HIB laws. Now, let me say, while Mr. Clemente did take his life and perhaps could have sought other options, in the wake of all his peers watching him have relations with another man before he came out of the closet can be overwhelming. And while he might have made the conscious decision to kill himself, I think that shows that he saw no alternative. Or maybe he sought no alternative. I don't know. But I will not speak ill and call him chicken shit or cowardice because he couldn't deal with what was happening to him in the immediate. We all do crazy things in the immediate after something like that would happen, and even minor things. I can't imagine how I would feel if that happened to me, and that's how people found out that I was a homosexual. I mean, that would be insane. I don't even know what I would do. So I'm not trying to compare your handicap to someone else's, sexuality, because I think that they're completely different ballparks to talk about. I think that
except you're making an assumption. I'm not trying to compare my handicap to their sexuality. Hang on. Quit cutting me off, damn it, or I'm going to mute you. Now, what I am trying to do is make you understand that society treats homosexuality and handicap much the same way. I am ridiculed on a daily basis. I am made fun of on a daily basis. I have people that talk about me behind my back. I have people that talk about me to my face. So I understand exactly what you feel like a lot of these people are going through, and there are a lot of other people besides them that go through it that do not decide to eat a bullet every other fucking day. And I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry, having gone through it for the last 12 years of my life as an adult and going through it over and over and over again even before then. At this point, what I'm trying to make you understand is if you do decide to take your own life, I'm sorry, it's my opinion, you are a coward, because there are plenty of other people that go through crappy things every single day that keep on fighting and keep on swinging. And I understand that it may be a really, really bad thing for all of a sudden the whole world to know that you're gay because somebody decided to videotape you. And I understand that maybe some good came out of the fact that he decided to take his own life. But the simple fact of the matter is there could have been even more good that came out of him deciding not to take his own life, because he could have been the one helping to spearhead a lot of those changes and been a voice for the reasons as to why to make those changes, rather than now being silenced because he felt overwhelmed and couldn't cope with the fact that somebody decided to out him through a video camera. I'm not saying that bad things do not happen to good people, and that has nothing to do with their sexuality. What I'm saying is I'm tired of one group being demonized for deciding to pick up a gun and shoot 50 people, and another one being turned into martyrs because, oh my God, their life was so hard they decided to commit suicide.
So
No.
the 22 veterans a day who commit suicide, they're cowards because they lived a hard life, or the gay kid who down the block who.
Hang on. Do I need to spell it out for you again? And this is coming from plenty of people, and I have lots of friends that are veterans.
The people who had hard lives who kill themselves are effectively
Yes.
cowards for doing
Yes.
it. And
I'm not. Did I stutter? Did I equivocate on what I said? No, I don't care what's your race, religion, background, sexual preference, what your life choices have been, what's been hard on you, what hasn't been hard on you. I don't give a damn what your justifications are. If you decided to take your own life, then I'm sorry. In my opinion, you are a coward. If that makes people want to hang around me less or talk to me less or whatever the case is, I don't care. Because it's time that we start calling things the way they are. And it really, in my opinion, doesn't matter if you decide to turn the gun on yourself or turn the gun onto a crowd of people. You have another problem that needs to be dealt with, and that's what we need to start focusing on. Not the correlations, not why Christians are bad, not why the Islamic extremists are bad. Let's start dealing with the issues that actually matter, because the one thing that nobody's talking about with any of this, on any side of the aisle, there's a correlation between all of the groups that you've talked about. Whether it's the handicapped, whether it's the military folks that are struggling, that are dealing with PTSD and other things that they've had to deal with that they don't feel like they can overcome. There are ways to help those people, and we as a nation need to stop arguing about how to get it done and find a freaking way to get it done.
Well, I mean, I think that to tell somebody who's seen war and killing and death that they're a coward, to tell a kid who's been bullied from day one, who is not accepted at home, that they're a coward, to tell all these people that they're a coward because they decided to do the decision to take their life. I think that.
So we're calling. Hang on. We're calling the Islamic dude a coward because he decided to turn a gun on 50 people.
Yeah, I would call him less of a coward if he just turned the gun on himself. Actually,
Notice you said less of a coward.
Yeah. I would say that he's not a coward.
Hang on. Let's not gloss over what you just said. You didn't say you wouldn't call him a coward if he turned the gun on himself. You said you would call him less of a coward.
Yeah.
All right, so we need to take a break, folks. We're a little bit past the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back. Got to pay some bills.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Wow! Good God, y'all! What is it good for? Absolutely! Get started again.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Wondering why you're up early with us on a Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hungover from the mainstream media by Sunday? We are, and we got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with booze.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Broadsheets.
The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rails. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
Our military service members volunteer to protect us in the most dangerous places around the world. They step up. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Wounded Warrior Project provides these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence at no cost for life. So now it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Join us at findwwp.org.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
All right, folks, we're back. We're live. I want to clarify something real quick, and then we're actually going to move on and talk about gun control. For those of you that are struggling every single day, whether it be with handicap, some other form of mental disability, or even the homosexuality issue, I'm not calling those of you that struggle every day a coward. What I'm saying is, if you ultimately decide at some point it's better to take your own life than it is to try to find a way to seek out some form of help or do whatever it is that you need to do to get through the day other than turning a gun on a group of people, then I'm sorry, in my estimation, that does make you a coward, because I know plenty of people that are still making that, involved in those struggles every single day and doing everything they can to make sure that they don't squander what, in my opinion, is a gift. So I just want to clarify, the only people that I am honestly calling cowardly, and I will always stand by that, are those that have decided either because of an inner struggle to turn a gun outwardly into a group of people, or to have turned a gun or taken some form of action that is basically caused them to squander a gift they were given, which is their life. If that makes me callous in your opinion, then so be it. But that's just how I feel, and I just want to make sure that everyone understands, for those of you that are struggling with this every day, I'm not calling you a coward for going through the struggle. I'm saying if you ever get to the point in that struggle where you feel you have no other choice but to take your own life, then shoot me an email, send me a tweet, do something. Let me at least try to talk to you before you make that decision, because suicide is not the answer. I don't care what you think is on the other side of this, whether it's darkness or something waiting for you. Suicide is not the answer. And I'm sorry, I will say this even about Robin Williams, who happened to be a childhood hero of mine. When he took his own life, it became a major conflict for me because of a lot of the things that I've gone through, a lot of things that I've seen other people go through. When you choose to make that decision, regardless of what caused you to make that decision, in my opinion, you are a coward. And like I said, if any of you are struggling with that, then please shoot me an email, send me hook up with me on Twitter, shoot me a DM, whatever you've got to do. Just let's talk before you make that decision. All right, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and change gears and start talking about gun control. I spent like 35 minutes yelling, so you get to lead this topic.
All right, so first of all, to begin on this topic, because it's been in the news, I honestly think that the issue of the shooter, of this Orlando shooter, I really don't think that the issue was ISIS. This man never came in contact with ISIS other than over the internet. So I could say that he was radicalized over the internet. I would agree with that. And I think that he used his Islamic faith as an outlet or as a reason to do these actions, because he was being radicalized, saying that this is okay.
Well, hang on. Before you go too much further with this, I'm saying this to the folks that are listening, do your own research, because if you'll look, you'll find a correlation between a lot of the most recent actors and their actions, and that's this person called the American Cleric. They've all come in contact with him one way or another through either internet or email exchanges, or some people were even attending the same mosque that he was in. So there is a correlation. Also, if it was only this club, I would understand your assertion, but he had actually also spent weeks trying to case the Walt Disney World complex and realized there was way too much security. So I think ultimately, and I do agree, even though I've never seen it in the media, I ultimately think that he did have a struggle with maybe who he was compared to who he thought he should be. And I understand that struggle, believe me. But at the same time, to say that he used it as an excuse or an outlet, I'm not so sure, because the one thing that keeps creeping up in all these recent attacks is this either tertiary or tangible connection to this person that everybody calls the American Cleric, who, interestingly enough, while being a devout Muslim, also has been arrested for prostitution. Just saying.
No. What I think, what I mean is that he was a gay man who felt this struggle within because of his religion, sought help about it, obviously got entangled with ISIS radicalization, and as a result was told that, this is probably the best way out. So that's what I meant by this.
Well, no, and I understand. I'm just saying there are a couple holes with that particular argument, and we're never going to know for a while. I mean, we never really find out their motivations for sure until usually a few years later. I'm just saying, for anybody who's interested, if you start looking into a lot of these recent events, you will find a correlation, and it is the American Cleric. The Fort Hood shooter was emailing back and forth with the American Cleric for days before he did the deed.
Who is this American Cleric, then?
Actually, just Google him real quick. He'll pull right up. You can find all kinds of YouTube videos with him. You'll even find his arrest records for prostitution. It's kind of funny.
Is he, in jail?
No, but he has been. Or at least he's been convicted, I think.
Why don't they arrest him?
Because prostitution is just prostitution.
But he's emailing these people, I don't know, whatever.
See, but that gets into a whole other messy little thing, because ultimately, can you really hold him responsible because somebody's listening to a video that he said and they interpreted a certain way and went and shot up a nightclub? I mean, that's what I'm saying. When you start making the arguments like you made in the beginning of the show, ultimately, if we start making those type of arguments, it means that me, you, or anyone else that says something that somebody else hears that misinterprets can ultimately be held responsible for their actions, or should be.
No, he'd be conspiracy to murder. There's definitely laws that if you help plot a murder or give advice on
No. I never said he was actively giving advice to do that. What I said was there are actually records.
He was emailing back and forth.
But that doesn't mean that he was giving him tips on, hey, hold the gun this way, and hey, make sure you're holding your tongue just right. No, don't forget to turn off the safety. It just means that they were emailing back and forth. I don't know what's in the chain of the email. Obviously, if there was something tangible that could tie him to the event in the chain of the email, they probably would have already arrested him.
Oh, well, that's what I thought you were implying. All right, never mind. Beside the point. At the end of the day, this man was interviewed twice by the FBI. Was he on the no-fly list? Do you know?
I believe he was, but it's not really that hard to get on the no-fly list.
Well, still. if he was or was not, he was still interviewed twice by the FBI. He was a domestic abuser, and, you know, he landed his hands on an AR-15.
It wasn't an AR-15. Hey, hang on. You're doing the same thing the media's been doing. It was not an AR-15. It was a SIG.
It was a what?
It was a SIG. It was a semi-automatic rifle produced by Sig Sauer. It was not an AR-15. You're doing the same thing the media's been doing, because now no matter what, it's an AR-15. It doesn't matter what type of gun it actually was. It was an AR-15, and actually we may talk about that next week as to why I think they're doing that, because I've already been touching on that a little bit on our show, on my show. But let's get back to the gun control issue.
I mean, every source that I look at says AR-15.
And after the show, I'll show you 3 sources that tell you otherwise, because it was not an AR-15. It was a 6
He was carrying an AR-15 style rifle.
AR-15 style rifle. That's my point. It wasn't an actual AR-15. The media is demonizing the AR-15 because if they keep putting it out there enough and keep making it seem scary enough, then eventually they're going to wind up being able to convince the American people that if nothing else, we need to ban at least just this one gun. And then once that works, they're going to move on to the Sig Sauer 223. Very bad, very evil gun.
No, fair enough. I see right here, actually. I'm reading from the Washington Post. A Sig Sauer MCX, not an AR-15. It's in like the AR-15 family, it says here. So, you know, they're very similar weapons. There's internal differences. But, okay, they're essentially within the same line of fire when it comes to, you know, guns.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying there's a very subtle reason why the media keeps using AR-15, 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 AR-15.
Well, it looks like that they're correcting themselves because...
Yeah, they always do after the fact, but it still doesn't change the fact that for a week, everybody heard AR-15, AR-15, AR-15. And this is just something that you should do kind of casually throughout the summer. Just every so often, walk up to somebody and just say, hey, what are your feelings about AR-15s? And watch their facial expressions. What they're doing is working. They're demonizing that one particular weapon so horribly that within the next couple of years, whether we want them to or not, they're going to be able to convince the American people that we should at least ban that gun. And once they've done that, they're going to move on to the SIG or whatever else and say, now this is the one that we need to make a target in the media no matter what, and eventually we'll do the same thing, because they always retract it later, but they always retract it days after the fact, or always make corrections days after the fact, and by then the kernel of non-truth has already been planted. That's my problem with the 24-hour news cycle. Nobody has to make sure they get it right anymore. All they do is go, if we get it wrong, we'll print a retraction later.
I think that, and I hope I've seen a lot of corrections about, assault weapons bans, but whatever type of gun it is, you don't need this shit to go hunting, okay? This is not the type of guns you load up a deer with.
Hang on. Where in the Second Amendment does it say that we're going to have guns for the right of hunting?
Yeah, and where in the Second Amendment does it say that every person shall have a gun? It says to keep a free and safe state. Last time I checked, New Jersey's free. So, one could argue that one doesn't even have the right to a gun. In fact, many of the founding fathers argued that there wasn't a necessity to specify.
And they lost.
No, it's just that...
No. You're doing... Hang on. You're doing the same thing that my 10th grade civics teacher tried to do to me, and I embarrassed her.
Okay, please.
You're operating like a lot of liberals do on the fact that of the phrase well-regulated militia. You're not taking into account that back then there was no militia, so the populace was the militia, and well-regulated had nothing to do with rules. Back then,
and now we have a militia.
The words well-regulated back then meant in properly working order. So the only thing that the Second Amendment guaranteed was that the populace should have access to firearms and make sure that they are in proper working order as a group. That is exactly what...
we have a well-regulated militia as a state militia?
Just because that has changed doesn't mean that the intent of the Second Amendment has changed. The Second Amendment is not here for hunting. The Second Amendment...
As long as It says a well-regulated militia. We have
Except the militia in the instance of the Second Amendment was the populace, not a designated group of people. That's what I'm saying. You are using language of today.
But now we have that well-regulated militia.
But you are using language of today and facts of today to try to correlate to what was intended to facts of the past. And the simple fact of the matter is the Founding Fathers intended for every American to be able to have access to a firearm. Because it's not about hunting. It's not about protecting yourself from your neighbors. It's about having the ability to rise up against tyranny. That's what the Second Amendment was intended for. They have put...
Right. Okay, so when Uncle Sam comes at my door and, declares martial law, me and my AR-15 are definitely going to be able to stand up next to their drones and their tanks and their, let's be real here. I mean, we are not going
Okay,
to
look, okay, so your straw man argument about the fact that the technology that the civilians have access to is not the same as the technology the armed forces have access to does not hold water, because the simple fact of the matter is that was the intention of the Second Amendment, because at that time, everyone was on an equal footing. The military had access to the same type of weaponry that the civilian populace had access to, so if and when there was any type of an action that they disagreed with that they felt was tyrannical, or the government had gotten to the point where we couldn't fix it through the millions of peaceful means that they've built into the paperwork that we follow on every single day, then they had a recourse, which was the one thing they didn't really have when they were part of the English population, which is why they wanted to make sure that was there.
You know what the common theme here, though, in your argument is that, well, this is all interpreted from back then. You kept saying, I kept saying, we have a well-regulated militia, your state militias, and you said, well, this is how they wrote it for back then, and this is how they interpreted back then. Well, they also had different weapons back then. Back then, it took minutes to reload and shoot a gun.
What does that have to do with anything?
Pull of a trigger.
Okay, so this is when Bryce's liberal side comes out, folks. So just let him ride it out. He'll be all right in a minute.
So let's hear the fact that weapons have changed, and you're saying that, well, either you're saying one of two things. Either A, we should go with the original intent of the Constitution. It's not a living document. We should read it as it was intended. But keep in mind, though, then in that case, it was also intended for the weapons of that day. It was not in...
bullshit. Come on. Okay, so hang on. No, because you just shot yourself in the foot. We need to shut this broadcast. Hang on. No. You just shot yourself in the foot. We need to shut this broadcast down right now because it's not covered by the First Amendment, and I don't want to go to jail.
So they could anticipate the fact that...
You're missing the point, genius. You're missing the point, genius. You are completely missing the point. I know you've been on vacation for like 4 weeks again and doing all kinds of stuff. Maybe you got a couple of PhDs I didn't know about again.
What's the point here?
The point is, if we hold the Second Amendment to only covering the type of weaponry that was available back then what you and I are doing right now is not protected by free speech, and we should stop right now.
In what way?
Because the only technology that was available back then that was protected by free speech was the printing press. So we should stop right now.
Well, actually, though, that's not true, because the Supreme Court has taken up things about online,
and so have they about the Second Amendment.
Yes, and they actually just struck down in a district court, I think it was, the right. That's not
the Supreme Court.
Well, it would make its way up eventually. I mean, it has the potential.
But my point is, up until now, the same things have happened with the Second Amendment. The only thing is, your side doesn't really care that much about the Second Amendment because as far as you're concerned, it's only supposed to be used for hunting. That was never its damn intention.
But the point here is that most of these weapons...
Can we just be honest? You don't honestly have a point. You're just trying to basically just be like, this is bad because the weaponry has changed so much and now it's so dangerous.
No, Rick. My point here is that you are making an incoherent argument when you state that a well-regulated militia was not their intent the way I put it. And I said, well, times have changed. And you said, well, this is how they intended it to be. Well, they also intended it around the technology of the day. So I actually don't agree with that argument. I'm just going based off the line of logic that you used. So by your logic, if we're going to interpret it by the day, then we should interpret it around what they had in the day. If we want to look at it like a living document, the way most people and I would like to look at it, then yes.
Except the Constitution is not a living, breathing document. It's a piece of paper.
It's absolutely a living document.
Oh, no. That is a very popular fallacy for your side of the argument. And the simple fact of the matter is you can do one without doing the other. You can look at the original intent. You can look at the original intent of the Second Amendment and take into account the weaponry of today, because it was never intended for the use of hunting. It's that simple. This was intended as a fail-safe against tyranny. And if you don't, by looking at this particular election cycle, if you do not, by looking at this particular election cycle, understand exactly how close we are to being in a tyrannical situation, then I can't help you.
I don't see that the United States is in any form close to being into a tyrannical situation, but
that's because you haven't been spending much time on Twitter. Maybe you should start. You'll start noticing all the little alt-right little weenies that are following Donald Trump and talking about deporting everybody that doesn't support him.
First of all, we've had that before. Actually, he quoted Operation Wetback, where we sent back a bunch of Mexicans and we still have our democracy. But, no, I wouldn't agree. I would agree with you that that's not right, but I'm not saying that that's tyrannical. Whatever.
Okay, hang on. So he's also talking about, and wait a minute, actually, he's already done one thing that pretty much no other presidential candidate he's done. He's banned an entire group from his events, which is the Washington Post. How's that for not tyrannical?
But he's not going to be the president, and he's not president, so I don't really care about him. And
if you think she's going to be any damn better, you're not paying attention either.
I really don't like Hillary Clinton either, but I'm probably going to be picking between the two or the worst shitty options, and I might even vote for Gary Johnson. I really don't know what I'm going to do.
All right, so let's just put a pin in this because we're about out of time and we're obviously never going to agree on gun control. So as promised, because I told you I would do this when we started talking about it, my definition of gun control, being able to hit what you're aiming at, that's gun control.
Okay. Well, on my show, I would definitely want to talk about what's actually being done about gun control right now. And I guess we can introduce it now. We have like a couple minutes left. The fact that people on the no-fly list or on the terrorist watch list should not have the right to get a gun. And people who are buying guns online and at gun shows should have expanded background checks. So you can say your opinions, I guess, now, and then we'll get to it on Opinion Nation.
Yeah, we might as well save it, but that first thing is going to be a little bit interesting because I've actually had a bit of an evolution on that, because at first when Donald Trump first started talking about meeting with the NRA to talk about that, for like 30 seconds, and this is probably because I used to work for an airline, I was like, yeah, that's not really a terrible idea because there's ways you can deal with being on that list. Then the more that I thought about it, the more I realized exactly what a terrible idea it is. So we'll actually save that and kind of get into it then. Also, everything else that you just talked about pretty much already happens. If you buy a weapon online, it has to be shipped over to someone that's got a federal firearm permit, and they do a full background check on you before they release it to you.
All right, even on online sales? Because I've read some pretty dangerous
especially
stories.
on online sales, because anytime you order a weapon online, it can't be shipped to your home. It has to be shipped to somebody, to ship to a business that has a federal firearm permit, and they complete the background check there before you pick up the weapon.
All right, well, we will definitely save this then for Opinion Nation.
All right, well, on that note, folks, we are out of here. Got to make room for the next show. We're just going to do a hot changeover, so stay tuned. Those of you listening on Spreaker, you won't notice the difference. Just keep on listening. We'll be on that one in a second. Those of you listening online, no difference either. You'll just pick it up right when we change over. We're going to pay some bills, get set up to come back, and actually, I will be stepping into the lion's den and going into Bryce's territory. And this time, I can't even use the duct tape and the earplugs because I'm actually going to be on the show.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to